Michael Gray is back at the Skypad with me to talk through Sunderland, Newcastle, which is part one of Super Sunday. And, of course, the last meeting, probably the high point in Paolo Di Canio's relatively short career in charge at the Stadium of Light. That 3-0 scoreline, those famous shots of him sliding down the touchline on his knees, the fist pumps, all of course, the animation of Paolo Di Canio. Are we going to get a same or similar scoreline this coming Sunday?
Well, it would be nice, obviously, being a Sunderland fan, but, you know, you have to look at them. I mean, the way that sides are going to line up as well also. I mean, this is going to be really important. It really is. I mean, Stephen Fletcher is the man who's going to get the goals for Sunderland. It's just going to be very difficult for them. They're looking for that first win under Gus Poyet. Start of the season hasn't been great. That's there for everybody to see. It's now a 30-game league for them in the Premier League. They've got to just get some points, David. They've got to try and do it as quick as they possibly can. First home game for Gus Poyet as well. It's going to be so important, you know, and he rallies the players around as well to say to them how important this game is. You know, I think the Sunderland fans have got to get behind the side as well. They know the importance of it, stoke up the atmosphere, make it difficult for Newcastle when they come. This is one of the biggest derbies. I've played in it. It's one of the great games around the world that you want to be involved in. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's a game that I'm actually going to. I went to the last game when they beat them 3-0. So, again, let's have a little bit of the same.
We're trying to stay unbiased if we can for this next bit. Newcastle fans, I think, probably had a bit of a frustrating time over the summer in terms of the signings that were made or weren't made. Of course, they've got this new sort of axis with Joe Kinnear working with Alan Pardew on that front. But at least they do have Loic Remy there, and he has been in good form this season so far.
Yeah, well, it was more off-field, wasn't it? But I think, you know, they've proved everybody wrong. They've got the points on the board this season. Alan Pardew seems to be getting the best out of his players. It's going to be so important. There's so many areas of the field that Newcastle can be strong on. Sissoko breaking into the area as well. They do get players into the area. Gouffran breaking down that right-hand side as well. And we just touched on Remy. I actually thought he would have been playing up front, but, you know, they found this formula last week with Ben Arfa up front, because we all know that Ben Arfa isn't going to track back. So maybe that's working in their favour as well. And they're very hard to break down now. Stephen Taylor coming back into the side as well alongside Williamson. Yeah. A little bit of experience, played in these games before as well. So they're set up very well. It's how Sunderland can break them down.
Well, yeah, and on that point, for the home side for this one, Paolo Di Canio's big summer buy, Manuela Giaccherini, how much of a threat do you think he poses to Newcastle?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's been one of the shining lights. 14 new players coming in the summer, which is always going to be difficult to try and bet all these players in. But Giaccherini, for me, he's the one. He started off his career at Sunderland on the left-hand side. I think the way that Gus Poyet's changed the side around, there will be a couple of changes. I think Key will come back to the side. He couldn't play last week against Swansea, obviously it was his club that he came from. But Lee Cattermole as well, vitally important. We want him to stay on the field, you know, first and foremost, to him and Tiote for Newcastle as well. But he's so important, you know, he's a leader, and that's what you've got to look for.
That'll be a real interesting battle, won't it? You know, that could determine the outcome of the game effectively. Who's got more steel in this derby?
Yeah, totally right. I mean, Lee's been sent off in these games before, as Tiote has as well. First 15 minutes is going to be absolutely frantic, like it always is in these games. Gus Poyet's got to just try and calm the players down in the dressing room, as does Alan Pardew. And I think it's just the ones who, you know, go out of the field, give that 100%, show that little bit of passion. And I think if whoever does that will probably come out on top in this game.